Still trying.
I watched you go from a window down below. In jest, you'd say it's the last time you'd walk away. Why does anybody ever go? I don't know. I don't know. Why couldn't I just raise my voice to say, don't go, please stay for at least one more day.
Hello and welcome. This is The Art of Giving Up, your podcast. We're giving up bad days, bad ways, unfortunate habits, bad friends, bad relationships, bad food, bad tacos, bad days, bad weather, bad everything, because life sucks sometimes. And as always, I'm your host, Steven, and I want to thank you, yes, you, for joining me on what? My journey of self-discovery, of improvement, and of growth. Now, I know that I spent the last episode with the amazing, the indomitable Christina Ortiz, and it feels really good to be joined by people. It feels good to not be alone. And I do too much of that on this podcast. And I spent a lot of time talking about how I want to have guests and I want to do things. And so I found someone sad enough, pitiful enough, someone with less of a life than me who's willing to join me. All right, everybody, I want a round of applause. That's right, for the awesome, the amazing, the not so funny Chandler. Oh yeah, whose last name I don't know.
Oh, thank you so much, James. Yeah.
It's Steven. Don't forget, I go by my middle name. It said you ruined it.
Fuck, I ruined the whole.
Over.
I'm sorry.
It's over.
I
It's
ruined
game
the
over.
whole thing.
You ruined it. You're a ruiner. So this is the whiskey. Now I don't know. Hold on. I just for people who listen to this know, because I actually have tens of listeners. Maybe sometimes hundreds.
You have like half a legion.
Mostly I have tens. I'm checking to make sure I'm recording because I've done that before. And I think that's pretty bad. So usually I try to keep it clean when I'm by myself, because when you're by yourself, it's kind of weird to be cursing up a storm. But if you're not aware, this is the Whiskey Cast, where we've been drinking for a bit, and we're drinking now, and we're gonna talk like we always do,
like good old sailors.
But this is still the same kind of thing there, and I just it's all right, it's okay. So we're gonna take our little glasses. Where's your glass? We're gonna clink. Okay.
A little bit of clink.
We're doing some John L. Sullivan.
Ooh, classic Irish whiskey. Ooh, down the hatch.
In an unclassic way, in an untraditional way, but it's okay because they can't see it and they don't know.
Can I tell them?
Go ahead.
They should probably know.
They should know. Okay.
Well, you see, sometimes when a daddy doesn't have his whiskey stones, and the mommy won't go out to get the whiskey stones, and they love each other very much.
And by the way, the daddy can be any kind of daddy.
Yeah, sugar daddy,
whatever. We're not no gender or anything here.
We're using mangoes as whiskey stones because it won't water down the drink.
But you know what though? It's not bad.
It's kind of working.
It's not making it taste like mango. I'm surprised.
It's not. If anything, it's just kind of giving like a nice little cheery blast of color to the glass.
I think I might be down with this.
This might be the new thing.
We should make this the thing.
We'll start doing like frozen blueberries.
I've done that because the blueberries don't leak the juice or anything, and they're just cold and small.
Wait, blueberries don't leak the juice? I figure of any berries to leak juice, blueberries would be number one. Most wanted. Wow.
All right, so
good for blueberries,
this
man.
Is the thing, all right, because you're new here, okay. And this is the thing that kind of do, all right. We talk about stuff, and the thing is that like I work with you now. This is kind of a thing. I kind of work with you, but I don't really know you.
We work moderately together.
We work in the same company, but like
we're owned by the same people.
Yeah, and we're on the same block.
That too.
But we were not working together. But here's the thing. I don't know you. You could be the word. You can make the bad spaghetti. I don't know.
I could wear skins as a hobby, but you'd have no idea.
I have no idea. So
I could just have like a closet full of furries, and you'd just be in the dark.
I'd be pretty aroused. But so here's your defining characteristic, other than your shitty hair, is the fact that you are kind of a comedian. Okay.
The hair is part of the brand. You see,
I feel it.
The shitty hair conveys me being a shitty comedian.
I'm actually kind of upset right now because I feel like your mic sounds better than mine. I don't know what's going on.
I just know how to project my voice.
Shit. All right. So that's what you do now, kind of. You're a comedian and you sell liquor, right?
I'm a comedian who sells liquor. Yes. I drink and I know things. So
I want you to tell me something. I'm curious about you being a comedian. Why do you think you're funny? What inspired you to take this time to be the comical?
Well, honestly, it comes down to just I think the main philosophy of life just breaks down to the same joke formula over and over. It's like you build up these expectations for some outcome, and and then nope. And just like if that's not a philosophy for life and human development and like society and nature, it's just that's the classic equation it comes down to is, oh, you think this is going to end up this way.
Hold on.
You don't know the punchline yet.
I gotta get the vibe right, okay? So that was loud. I'm about to mess with my thing here. Oh, that sounds much better. Oh,
you start twisting knobs. You find
knobs, right? My whole thing is definitely that I, in addition to sucking, try really hard to be positive. I'm trying. I'm not doing good at it.
But you're putting in the effort.
I'm putting in the effort.
That's tough enough as it is.
Is it really?
To be positive? Yeah. You got to know which side of the coin you're on all the time.
You know, I don't know if you know this, but I suck at things. Okay.
Oh, wait. You mean the host of The Art of Giving Up isn't just naturally gifted at all things?
No. That's why, all right. I mean, obviously, I work where I work, so... I mean, I'm just not...
I feel like that's a backhanded dig at me.
Not at all.
Okay.
Because you work at the successful business.
That's true. You're right. Our shop is the one that actually makes money.
Yeah, I work at the place that does nothing but lose money.
Well, that's not true. You guys do a damn good sandwich.
Yeah, but, a damn good sandwich doesn't pay the rent, so...
In my joke book, it does.
Well, it's unfortunate your jokes aren't that funny. All right. So here's the thing. Oh, that's why I sound different. Because normally I talk into the mic like this because I'm by myself.
Or you're talking to a girl, and you're really trying to lay on the sauce.
You're gonna get me fucking murdered. Jesus frickin' is the savior of all things holy.
Might have to make you do some actual editing.
Right. Oh boy, I'm not editing nothing. Right? Here's all right. So the thing is that I don't want this to be. Obviously, it's not two white guys talking to mics. Thank the Lord.
Wait, shit! No one told me.
No, but normally I don't know. So normally I tend to have a woman on because I'm a male. Okay, but I think that having a person like you, who is a Caucasian person, all right, the caucasity that exists in this room right now, who also I think is I'm scared. I don't know what to say. Who is of the who?
You want to say of the tribe?
The tribe, the tribe of Israel. That's
a really roundabout way of saying he's Jewish,
right? So I feel like we still have some minorities going on here.
We got some perspectives.
Have some perspectives.
Yeah, we're not completely the hegemony quite yet.
No, not quite. Not that I know what that means. I don't know what that means. What is that?
Should I mansplain it to
Please
you?
do. I would appreciate that.
It's the dominant ruling party or demographic. So like in America, that would be waspy old white males
who are actually becoming not the majority in like the next 10 years. But they have all the power.
You can't tell them that, or else then like they'll start actually freaking out. You can't tell old white people that they're not going to be the majority.
I don't know if you know this, but Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is going around raping all their children. Like,
see, it's just what they expect. It's just what we expect.
I know. It's just like, no, actually, I've come to this like weird thing where like I've come to the understanding that I'm gonna talk sultry. Yeah, that AOC. This is crazy. Is that this is?
It's not like a new web developer.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Oh, okay, all right.
Who is a freshman congresswoman.
Which, by the way, isn't the whole like freshman Congress like that's kind of belittling?
But
don't you think?
The way they do it is because usually they stay there for a long time. And once they're in a seat, it's really hard to unseat them, especially because.
Does that mean we can start calling the people who've been there for way too long super seniors?
Good.
Or just like, you've outstayed your welcome. Just fucking graduate already.
Right. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Is that they're women and they're people of color, so they're freshmen. That's it.
Right, so they don't know anything yet.
Yeah, they don't know anything. But do the people who are there know anything? And this is the thing. It's the misnomer, right? Because the people who are there don't know anything. And I don't think AOC is a genius. I'm not going to pretend that I think Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who is a bartender, is a genius, because she's not. But guess what? Those freaking old white people who are there are also not geniuses.
Nah.
And just because some of them went to law school doesn't make them better or more knowledgeable or anything like that. And unfortunately for the WIPO, so we don't get zucked, for the WIPO that are inside of,
Wait, what's the WIPO?
Oh, all right.
Hold on,
We're
we're
gonna take a little thing. So when you're on like Facebook and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't talk derogatorily about Caucasian people because you will get banned from Facebook temporarily, maybe for a day or two. So what people have done in these leftist groups, the POC, the people of color, is they've started to change the wording. So instead of writing the word white, they would write WYTE, right? Or WIPO, white people.
Okay.
I
follow.
Because it shirks the algorithm and they don't get banned.
It has nothing to do with like gender identification of white people to change the like I to a Y.
No, it's just I mean, that would be nice, but but they wouldn't do that.
They wouldn't.
No.
Wait, you mean these leftist liberal groups wouldn't acknowledge gender fluidity?
Maybe, I don't know. But you know what? Hold on. Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna say that. All right. You know what? I'm gonna say it because I'm a leftist person, but as I've discovered,
I mean, I'm left-handed, so
so that means that you are different. I was gonna use a different word, but we don't use those words anymore. We don't use those words anymore.
Is pagan the word you're thinking of? Is
paganism and heathenry are defined as blanket terms that are applied to people who worship any non-Abrahamic religion.
Yeah, that probably fits.
That is true. People that are heathens.
I mean, I appropriate like easily 15 different
you really
religions.
Do,
like,
I used to be totally into the pagan and Wiccan thing.
Oh yeah.
Heathens came from the Heaths, which are people from the
the Heath Brews, right?
The Heath. Oh wow. I don't even know. Listen, I'm scared. I don't want to sound anti-Semitic. I don't want to.
That's just as bad as starting a sentence going, not to be racist, but
no. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be anti-Semitic, but I don't understand what that is because I'm not trying to. I want to just nod and pretend like I understand. But
what anti-Semitism is?
No, but you said some word I didn't understand, and I just want to nod and be like, yeah, I completely agree with you because I don't want to seem anti-Semitic, but I just don't know.
Wait, which word?
I don't know. You said some word.
Hebrews?
Yeah, what is it?
That's just the play on, the Hebrews being... okay, so I guess if you use it in a derogatory sense, Hebrew is a slur, but, like, it's just the language. That's all it is. It's the language. So, like, if you define a person by the language they speak, I guess that's inherently racist?
Like the English?
Yeah. Like that. Well, unless you're from England. I guess then you'd be Anglo.
I'm suddenly I don't
Anglo-Saxon.
Oh.
Because that's like the tribe of people that make up the British, or the whatever the fuck they call that island.
So calling the English is it's not right. I don't.
Well, you see, if you call, it's still the name of their country, so I guess it's an interchangeable. Like there's a gray area, an English gray area.
It's like Jew and Jew.
Yeah.
Like
how much pepper you put on it.
How much pepper?
It's about the pepper.
Pepper.
You put too much pepper on it, then it's way too spicy.
Because you're just like, it's just like, oh, my friend Chandler's a Jew, or it's like, oh, my friend Chandler's a Jew.
Yeah,
it's just like,
what octave do you drop?
How deep it goes. It's like Jew or Jew.
And it's like, oh, the Jews, they're crazy, or just the Jews.
Hold on. Again, I think that people might get confused. Chandler's my Jewish friend, so it's okay that I say these things.
Well, I should also like put a disclaimer out that like so that the Jewish people don't think I'm a representative of them. Guys, I'm not.
Eat a lot of pork and seafood, do you?
Oh,
like
hella.
Shellfish?
Dude, pork belly and scallops are like my go-to.
Every day?
Every fucking day. It's fried up on top of some fried rice.
I don't eat meat, so I can't say anything about that.
Oh, well, fish doesn't count as meat.
It does. You're killing animals. You're such a bad person.
No, fish they don't understand. They don't get it. They're not. They're like, fish don't count.
Sounds like what. Oh, I can't say these things. I can't say these things. I don't know.
I want to bring out the worst parts of you.
It's not really
Stephen.
the worst. It's not really the worst. I just feel like this is the kind of things that white people would say, like 10, 5, 2 year this year. Is like, black people they don't feel anything. They're not really people. They're not people. I was actually accused once of making everything racial. Okay. I'm gonna get serious for a second. I'm gonna pull out Dave Chappelle. I'm gonna pull out a cigarette. I'm gonna pull up a stool.
I'm gonna put on my serious face for this one.
I did not know that racism was a thing. I swear, for so long, because because I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. So the only shitty people that I saw were black people.
Being racist?
Being just terrible. When I grew up in Harlem, right? When I was younger, until September 12th, 2001. That's a whole story upon itself.
Okay, that's a loaded date.
That's a whole story.
Yeah.
That's a whole story in itself.
I don't know if we have time to get into that.
But we might not. There's a whole story about that. But like, I grew up in a predominantly black area, right? And I think I mentioned this a few episodes ago. I didn't really have like the best perception of people of color, black people, because I grew up in a black neighborhood, son of black people with no white faces. But I saw a lot of people not doing anything, not progressing, not having, I don't know, nothing. Everything sucked. Okay? But all you heard was white people this, white people this, white people this. But I saw no white faces holding us down. I felt no white boot on my throat, So I didn't think that, I don't know. I just thought that, like, it was over, and that like black people were because I was young. I thought black people were just stuck in some mindset of like, you know. But then I got older, and I was like, I realized like I experienced racism my entire life. This is a thing that exists.
Oh yeah.
You know, I didn't realize this. And people are like, oh, they're like, they're like, oh, how could you have felt that way? But when you are in it, right? Like I mentioned this last episode and the episode before. I thought that the only future I would have is if I found some girl, got her pregnant, and we lived in the projects. Okay? I really felt that way. Mm-hmm. Okay? The fact that I have an apartment, okay, that's not in the projects, to me, sometimes is amazing because I thought that's where I would end up.
See, that was my fallback plan.
It is, but it is though, right? It is because you're just like, oh, and also you're a minority, also, you know.
Oh yeah,
but
super discriminated against.
I don't know how to react to that because I don't know how you meant it. I don't know if you meant it sarcastically. You're like, yeah, super discriminated against, like.
Oh, when your humor's so dry. Oh, I love it.
No, but listen. I swear, I didn't know racism. Like I knew it existed, but like on TV, right? When I was younger, people were like, "Oh, we need more representation of people of color on TV," and I used to be like, "Why? Why do you need people of color on TV? Like, just like there are people of color on TV. There are black people all the time on TV
on BET.
Right? No, but like, no, that's not a joke though. It's like not.
Right?
I got older, and I was like, you know what? Like, you had either people like perpetrating a stereotype, which by the way is also okay, but then you had the Huxtables, which are actually the worst. Because it's black exceptionalism. It's like, hey, you can only make it a society and have a nice house if you like, you know, perpetrate these white stereotypes. Like if you're like you're act like you're white, you know.
Yeah,
it's
through a white lens.
Isn't everything?
Mm.
You know, and I think it's so interesting because I find myself surrounded by Jewish people. I live in New York City,
right? Okay?
But most of them are irreligious. You know, it's just like
they're secular Jews.
Yes, because I mean it's New York City,
right?
Okay, and I feel like I said something really wrong and racist there because I just feel I don't know. I feel like I don't know.
I haven't heard anything racist. That could be very telling.
That could be telling. Well, I don't know. But here's the thing, though. I live in Brooklyn, okay, and there's a lot of Hasidic Jews.
Yeah,
but I'm not friends with any of them because they would not be friends with me.
They're the Amish of the Jews.
But here's the question. Are they racist?
Oh, I mean, everyone has their racial reservations. You want me to? Okay, I personally don't have enough information on the goings on in the Hasidic communities.
I thought all Jews were alike. So, sorry, I didn't put the pepper on that. I thought all Jews were
that's
alike.
Oh, that's some cracked black pepper on that.
little Tabasco,
little habanero on that one.
The Jews, I'm sorry, the fucking Jews are amazing people. I swear.
I mean, we built the pyramids, right?
I heard that wasn't true. I don't know.
Shh, that's the one thing we got going for us. That's not true. We also have a lot of other things that are just kind of side projects.
In Africa. I'm not gonna say anything, but
me neither.
when the Jews aren't in the sun, they're kind of a pasty people. So I can't imagine legions of. I can't imagine legions.
You want to finish that thought?
Of well-intentioned usurers, money lenders, maybe, or because that's a thing. I just, you know what? I take it back. The Jews are strong people physically, and they could build it. Two of them could build the pyramids.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck, we built the Luxor, so what more do you want from us?
Yeah. And also all of Hollywood.
Yeah.
Now, you see, but I have a Jewish friend, so I can say that. Hold on. Hold on.
I say it?
Yes, hold on. Can I say, hold on. I swear. I swear. Jeffrey Epstein is making all the Jews look bad right now. Okay?
He's not the only one.
But I think
6 months ago we had Weinstein. So
you know,
like,
I swear, I sound like I'm pandering, but I love the Jews. Okay, like one of my closest friends when I was my youth, Ian Russo. He's a Jewish kid, right? You know, and like his parents had like a condo in the Upper East Side, and right in Central Park. So awesome, such a great guy. And he's really funny. He's a if you guys ever make it out to Flappers, I don't know where that is, but I know it's
in LA.
It's in LA.
It's a beautiful club.
Yeah.
I have plenty of friends there.
He goes there all the time. He does a lot of stand up. I don't always think he's the funniest, but like he even does
I'm
like
just gonna throw him under the bus on your
no. The reason I always thought he was pretty funny, but you know he's not like the funniest. And he does like Sweetwater, Los Angeles, which is a podcast. You know, I support him. Okay, I have a thing. Like I love the Jews. I swear to I you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I was going to convert to Judaism.
Why?
A woman, but that's not the point. Is that I've always found it very interesting, and like I get it. Like, you know, I've read a lot of books, and I find it to be very, very interesting, and actually even humbling to even imagine the struggles of the modern Jewish person.
Where?
Wow,
that's the big question.
The thing is that
Jews are defined by their diaspora. So when you say the plight of the modern Jewish person, geography is...
That is definitely... That is what it is. That I'm about to say, because like you think about the African American diaspora, you're right. You're completely right about that. Because here in America, it's a little interesting because in high positions you have a lot of Jewish people who have a lot of power. But there are also lots of Jewish people who don't have power.
Oh, yeah.
And there are lots of very poor Jewish people in our country, you know. But I think that...
I mean,
when you go to the West Coast, though, I just think you run into lots of well-educated, maybe very nice, not child-molesting Jewish people in positions of power. That's just how it is.
Is this built into like a question, or is this this?
It's just a statement, so that the people who listen to this don't think that I'm anti-Semitic, because I'm not.
Okay.
I love the Jews.
Well, so why are you saying statements then? You can't.
Because I don't want people to think I'm anti-Semitic.
Exactly. You have to ask. You have to put it on me now to answer these questions.
Why are the Jews so amazing?
Why are the Jews so? Because we eat our Wheaties every day.
Why are they so talented?
And when we don't have our Wheaties, we get our frosted mini wheats because they're packed full of fiber and they keep us nice and regular.
Why do they? Ooh, he's like, why do they?
I'm getting paid for this, right?
Right. Why do? To my knowledge, my limited knowledge, so people don't think, of course, that I'm anti-Semitic.
Just ignorant.
Because I am. Why do that? I've never been a minority with another minority who's not a woman of color. Or a white woman, because I've had a white... Okay.
White women aren't minority.
Let me take this back. Let me take a step back. I was on the podcast with a non-binary trans person who happens to be Caucasian. So they are also a minority.
Okay.
So that's that was the thing. Okay. But as a Jewish person...
Emphasis on the ish. Like, real hard emphasis on the ish.
I don't know. I feel like you have all the answers. You know, I just feel like...
Because I have enough outsider perspective to have studied us, but I also have enough insider perspective to actually have an interest.
And I feel like this might be really offensive, but I realize... You gotta think about this. Hold on. Being Jewish is different than being black, right? Because the black experience...
Wait, is it? Fuck, no one told me.
The black experience is way different. Do you know why? Hold on. Because
yes,
being black doesn't mean anything. It's just the color of your skin, right? However, being Jewish is very complex because you have... And people argue about cultural Jews versus like religious Jewish people, right? You know, so sometimes it's very complicated. However, if you're raised in a family where anyone is Jewish, you are going to be exposed to Jewish culture, right? Whereas if you're black, just being black doesn't mean that you're going to be exposed to urban culture or like, you know, American...
It's more like you're just kind of relegated.
Yeah, you just have a color of your skin, but being Jewish is very interesting because it's such a small group due to, I don't know, maybe mass genocide. But I'm just saying,
Mass genocide. Well, the genocide isn't as impactful as I think the diaspora is. Excuse me, I burped.
This is beautiful. Thumbs up.
It's the exile of Jews from having a central point to then being everywhere, and so we kind of have to accommodate to our there's this might be news to you, but there's like 3 different kinds of Jews, and then within that there's another 3 or 4 different subgroups. So there's Ashkenazic, there's Sephardic, and then there's Mizrahic or Mizrahi. One of the pronunciations I can't remember.
You're like you're Jewish, but not Jewish enough. Gotcha.
Exactly. Well, so Ashkenazic are the ones who, when we were kicked out of Israel by the Babylonians, they fled to Eastern Europe and Russia, Ukraine, all those. That's my genetic background. It's got influence of Slavic, and that's where like the typical Brooklyn, New York Jew is from. And then you have Sephardic, which fled to like Spain, Europe, and Northern Africa, and they went more west. And so you also have a lot more Islamic influences in their culture, usually darker skin too. It's just a different interpretation because they grew up in a different area. And then the Mizrahic are the ones who are more Middle Eastern. So even within like the Israelites, there's still drastic differences between it. So like when initially you said like, so what's the plight of the modern Jew? It's super geographically defined because I can only talk for Ashkenazic Jews who are very reform and to the point where I'm not even religiously practicing. Like the only affiliation I have with Judaism is family relation, and by the law, like or what is it, halal law, I'm my mother's Jewish, and therefore I am it's passed down through the matriarchal line, and so I really have a limited perspective on what it means to be Jewish. I know what it means to have Jewish family, and that's about it.
What does that mean?
It means half your family is really interested in something you give no shits about, but like they're super invested. Actually, I can't even say they're super invested because I've only ever seen them really during religious events. And so, of course, they're going to be super invested during those times. But I don't know what their day-to-day is.
I think it's something so interesting that, like, obviously, I'm not Jewish, but I think it's so interesting that, like, even being Ashkenazi Jew and there being different kinds of Jewish people, there's still some kind of culture that's like, you know that like there's something there to look back at, right? And one thing that I find, one of the issues with being like a black person in America is that you look back at what people always ask me, where are you from? I don't know where I'm from. I don't have any cultural or religious ties to anything or any place.
Right.
There's nothing. There's zero. There's zilch. But I find Judaism to be so interesting because there is a peoples, right, who are all over the world, yes. But like everywhere they've gone, they've just been hated and mutilated and absolutely destroyed.
We're just really good at being scapegoats.
And can I tell you something?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not trying to say that black people is different, but the only reason black people exist more than Jewish people is that there just have always been so many more black people on the planet.
Well, yeah, Africa's fucking huge.
There's so much significantly more black people, Well,
I wouldn't also discount the economic advantages of keeping a black population, at least in the New World. Like, Brazil is heavily populated by black people because there was such, like, they outnumbered slave owners. So, I mean, clearly your population's gonna...
So kill the Jews, enslave the blacks.
Exactly. I mean, that's what happened. That's kind of...
You know what's funny? I think,
summary of history.
I think that's actually really interesting that I know a lot of people of color have like a huge, like, this weird thing between black people and Jewish people is like a lot of head bumping and stuff sometimes, right? And I just realized why. Because, like, black people feel like a lot of Jewish people, from what I've experienced from people around me, they feel like Jewish people have a whole different, like, people view them with more pity and more sympathy and stuff like that because the Holocaust is such a crazy event, right? And people of color always like, well, you know, we've been enslaved for hundreds of thousands of millions at the beginning of time. I'm black, and I sound like I'm making fun of it, but I'm not. But that's, you know, that's how it sounds to other people, right? Mm-hmm. But I realize it's just so different. You know, it's really different.
It's drastically different experiences.
Because you have people who are like, you're enslaved and you're trash and we're going to kill you. But you're both trash, actually, and they'll kill you both, but it's just more of you. So we're going to take you. And also, black people are, like, but the skin, it's not because they're physically stronger, but the skin, the dark skin, able to be in the sun and stuff like that.
That and, like, Jews can pass.
Yes.
We can pass as white.
And Jews can, and that's also, which contributes to the elimination of Jewish people, because they just, the minute stuff comes down hard, the people who, I'm not gonna say smart enough, but the ones who have that thought, they just pass. Mm-hmm. You know, until extinction, you just pass, and you have your kids, and your kids pass, and you just pass until your entire bloodline is just like
not surviving.
Yeah, you know.
Well, and that's also why so many, like, very Orthodox or just more religiously focused Jewish families look to try to keep it within the bloodline, which that's a whole other can of worms. Or keep it within the tribe, not within the bloodline.
It's a can of autism.
That's
that's
too real.
I mean, it's a can of vaccines. Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. It's no, there's like a definite focus to try to maintain Jewish culture through procreating with other Jews, and I think, well, there's a whole other, like we said, genetic can of worms to open there. But so much of it is the fear that we'll kind of like lose that culture. But honestly, it's such a dynamic culture already, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, even American Jews are drastically different than English Jews. Like, we've managed to spread out as a group of people and just kind of assimilate. That's one thing that ethnic group. And also, I want to throw this out there. When it comes to the question of whether or not Judaism is a culture or religion or an ethnicity or all that, it's never usually the Jews determining it.
Oh,
I mean, there's the exception in modern Israel, but for the most part, it's usually the oppressing party that's trying to figure out how to classify us. I want to break it down to just, it's a tribe.
It's so interesting. You know, so the thing is, no, I'm not trying to, your thing is not, because I don't think, in all jokes aside, like, I don't feel like, I don't want to pigeonhole you as like being like the Jew.
Nah.
You know. But
and again, I've emphasized.
But this is definitely a thing that like I have a vision of, a perspective of, that is limited, even though I've been surrounded by Jewish people for a very long time, that you have a different perspective on. And the one thing that actually I've been empathizing with and feeling kind of distressed about is that I feel that as a culture, society, ethnicity, or whatever, because being a minority, I have no say over it.
It's a tribe.
Whatever.
It's a tribe called Jews.
They're on a quest. They are going to be eliminated that's what's going to happen. They're going to vanish, I think, just due to one thing, and it's because of the pale skin and being able to pass, right? Mm-hmm. And living in a society with people who look like them, and when they get out of their religious circles, that it's just kind of easy to find people who don't look like you, who don't really like share you. Because, like, here's the thing, and this is gonna sound crazy, but like, here's the thing: if you're black, right, you can meet millions of people who don't share your views, but they look like you, right? It doesn't matter. And I don't think that the dark skin is ever going to fade away, because what's going to happen is that if you're out there and you're dating and stuff like that or whatever, and you want to find people who identify with you, who have like a struggle as you, but the struggle of the modern Jew, when it comes, like, it's weird because people in America will look at you.
Well, you can't also discount how popular incest porn is.
Of course.
Like, there's always gonna.
But you know what happens? Like, if people look at you, they don't do the thing about being dark skinned. Period. Is they look at you with, like, if they have a negative view of you because you're dark skinned. That's it. But they hate you because you're a Jew. It's very possible that you can just pass as a Jew, and all you have to do is not be religious. And religion is kind of like on it's doing its thing in the modern era.
It depends on who you ask. That's a big variable on what it takes to pass, though. That's the big question: is who determines what's passing?
Well, what is passing? In my opinion, I think the minimum of passing is don't be a Hasidic Jew. That's it, right? But the minute that you do that, right, and you're not like super like all into Torah and stuff like that or whatever, and if you're not you're not going to a synagogue every week, right? What happens is that your faith starts to get watered down by generations, and because being a Jew, in my opinion, from what I see, not anybody can just be like, I'm a Jew. Right? People don't just wake up and be like, I'm a Jew. People wake up and they go, I'm Christian. Right?
People, born again.
Yeah. But people don't just wake up and go, oh, I'm Jewish, right? So
we're a little bit more exclusive than that.
But that exclusivity is dangerous to the continuing of Jewish people.
Right.
Because...
And that's why I define it as a tribe. More than anything. Because it's not... Like, you're not uninvited, but you definitely have to prove your worth being part of, like, it goes beyond physical features. It goes beyond religious boundaries. It goes beyond just the way you live. There's a mentality and then just like having the affiliation.
So what does the future of like Jewish people look like in a secular world? Like the world gets more and more secular. Mm-hmm. Then what does the world look like for Jewish people?
It's the what'd be the best? Okay, here's a good answer.
I hit you to I hit you with the question.
No, that's a good question, and here's a damn good answer. Because, well, a lot of Jewish principle is based off of recording, remembering, and keeping certain traditions alive. It's very, like all religions, it's very rooted in traditionalism, but a lot of the traditions that we have, though they venerate God, Yahweh, and whatever the fuck you want to call him, the goal isn't to supplicate to the Almighty. It's more of like a Thanksgiving, is what it comes down to, and not in like the terrible atrocities that happen during not in that sense, but it's like a communal coming together, sitting. It's like what every religion is based at its heart, and you have certain, sometimes they're stupid, sometimes they're fun little traditions, and they're basically inside jokes. Like Passover is just a series of, well, they're not jokes, but they're inside little traditions. They're not structured in a joke, but they're inside jokes. Like we eat this bitter herb to remember da 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 da. Well, no one who's outside would be like, oh, this thing symbolizes this. But because we all have that inside knowledge, that's regardless if we think God was the one who brought us out of Egypt. It's, we got that inside joke between us.
I think that's honestly, it's such a good way of explaining it, because you think about it, especially the more secular things become, I kind of realize that people are less about God this and God that, but people are all about their religions.
It's about traditionalism.
People still do a lot of Christmas. Doesn't matter why you do Christmas. People just want to do Christmas. People just like to perform these rituals and to participate in something, to feel like something, And the memory is very important, like you said, because it's not just the memory of yesterday, but of times gone, of people lost, of ideals, especially with great atrocities. It's extremely important. This history is extremely important. And I know I feel like I was sounding a little anti-Semitic earlier, where I was just kind of joking around a little, but I feel like, especially like the history of the Jewish people is so rich, and I'm actually, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little scared, because the thing is, I don't want it to go away. I don't want it to vanish. I don't want it to.
It's never gonna. We've been through too much shit. It's like SNL at this point. Like, no matter how many shitty seasons we've had, eventually you learn to love the cast, and then as soon as you do, there's another setback.
But who's the Kenan Thompson of the Jewish?
Solomon Rushdie.
Solomon Rushdie, really?
Boom. Asked and answered.
All right. Now, so I have a question. Are you going to be doing any stand up in the city anytime soon?
This Monday. July. Today's the 18th.
You need to be on this. Today's Friday, the 19th.
Today's Friday the 19th?
Mm-hmm.
So
Saturday.
22nd. 22nd. So this Monday the 22nd, I should be going to a couple open mics. One at Pioneer Bar on 29th and between 7th and 8th Avenue in Manhattan. That one's at 2 p.m. I should be saying some jokes and hopefully...
Are they going to be funny?
Oh, hell no. Hell no. These jokes are going to make you go, oh, what's the punchline going to be? And then when the punchline hits, you're going to be like, I should have seen that.
I was actually thinking more along the lines of where's the punchline.
There is a punchline. It just makes you upset that you listen to the entire build-up of the joke. And then later that evening, I'll be at Grizzly Pear at 5 p.m., that's in Greenwich Village. I don't know the cross.
You're not used to playing yourself.
No, I don't.
Yeah. Do you like doing comedy?
I really like doing comedy. I just haven't found my groove in New York yet. That's kind of, so it's been a little bit like pulling teeth, or petting a shark backwards. You ever go to one of those touch tanks?
What? I actually have, but I didn't touch it because I felt bad for the sharks.
That makes sense. I mean, they're kind of stuck there.
They are.
Just getting touched all the time.
It's mostly kids poking them and stuff.
Don't you know you're supposed to use the 2 fingers and brush alongside the spine?
But it's kids, though.
Fucking kids.
Well, you know what? I can't even.
Go.
Anyway.
Talk your shit about kids.
What I was going to say was, I want to thank you for coming here and participating in this madness.
This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and getting also into some serious shit. But, I feel like I sound anti-Semitic. I swear I love Jewish people. I swear. I swear. I'm so scared of getting canceled. I don't
talk to a Hasidic Jew. Next time, I dare you. Next time you see one.
I would, but the thing is that, when you're the thing is about being secular. Is that you can't really have a conversation with someone when you think that they're crazy. And I don't mean crazy, but I mean that you believe in something that's not real. And by the way, I just realized
I believe in the
that there are people who listen to this.
And
I'm not joking, that there are people who listen to this who I love very dearly.
Yeah.
There's at least 2 people that I listen to who I wish I could name, but I don't want to because I feel like it'd be kind of rude. who I really, really, really care about. Okay, and one is an amazing person on the West Coast, and one is a person here, and I love them so much. They're so amazing, and when I meet people, I love them, and I care about them so much, and I feel so bad. I feel so bad that I don't believe what they believe, and I don't want to call what people believe nonsense. And I don't want to disrespect people that I care about who are also very like when somebody's so kind to you, you know what I mean? Like, it's really hard.
Let me try to mitigate some of this angst for you. I'm gonna ask you a question, and this might help
if I
you.
answer wrong.
You can't answer wrong. What do you think's better? Star Wars 1 through 3 or 4 through 6?
I mean, obviously 1 through 3. However, hold on.
Shit.
No, I'm kidding. Come on. Well, come on.
Whoa,
come
wow.
on. 4 through 6 is obviously better, but I love 1.
Now,
1 is fun mainly because young Anakin in the pod racer, awesome.
great scene.
2, long and a little drawn out, not very good movie. 3, heavy on the action, actually pretty good.
The choreography for the fight scenes.
Yeah, but just something about 2 that just kind of drags the trilogy down.
Okay.
Okay.
No, I understand. I understand.
7 and 8 so far have been good in my opinion.
Okay.
I saw 7 twice.
So you've stuck with the original trilogy, the prequels, and you're still on board with the 7 and 8.
Yeah, I don't have to love everything. It just,
Have you considered Islam?
What? Yes. Inshallah.
You see what I'm getting at?
No, I don't.
Well, okay. Jews being the purists that we are, we believe that Luke is the chosen one. We still haven't found our Luke Skywalker yet. The New Testament, that's the prequels.
Oh, I get it now. I'm starting to get it.
They knew Anakin, he was the chosen one. He was the one who threw Darth Sidious off the edge. He was clearly the chosen all along, and now we're just living in a post-messianic era.
All right.
We have to now try to rebuild and be as best as we can. Now, granted, I don't know too much about the Quran and Islam, but I'd like to think they follow in the same trend as you build on to the trilogy. Some people kind of taper off. They're like, I don't know about this whole new prophet.
Muhammad burning down Mecca and raising it in his own image type
like,
thing.
is he really trying to follow in his grandfather's footsteps, or is he trying to be his own Sith Lord? Like,
Right,
what are we doing here?
Muhammad is Kylo Ren. I feel it. Okay.
You said it. But, like, you don't always have to agree with people who are, like, die-hard prequel fans or die-hard original saga fans.
I kind of ruined it for you, though, because I'm so nice. I'm just okay with all of it.
You're okay. How do you feel about Rogue One and Solo?
Rogue One, good. Solo. The thing is that...
So you're about halfway on the Gospels.
Here's the thing, though, is that what Rogue One did... I know it's a crazy tangent, right? But Rogue One did a lot of interesting things. The weaknesses about Rogue One is that there are no stakes in the movie because you know how it ends.
That's true.
That it completely ruins a movie if you think about it like that. However, when I go into a movie, I approach a movie and I'm trying to be entertained. If I'm thinking about the story and the building of the story, Rogue One is a little weak because if you know how it ends, then you can't be invested in the characters because they have to die. Okay, and Solo...
I would almost make the argument that would make you more invested in the characters because each moment you're like, when are they gonna die?
But you
is this the moment?
But the movie's
are
2
they gonna
hours
die right now?
But the movie is 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and the people aren't good. I'm not gonna lie though, I feel like it was written very well. So at the end, it's like a little bit of a struggle, and you're not sure. And it's like maybe they do live after all, but you just don't know about them because in the prequels, I don't know. After they give
you that small little ounce of hope.
They do, Solo, on the other hand, did the terrible thing where like they just have to explain why his nickname and blah 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 and
It was
and
all
parsecs.
referential.
But it was still enjoyable, you know. But you know what? I feel the same way about religion.
It was a
'Cause
fun romp through the
I
Star
love church.
Wars
Yo,
universe.
I love church. Do you know how much I love church? I used to love church so much. I've had no bad church experiences except for that one time that somebody accused me of touching a child, which, by the way,
Wait,
which
I've had no bad church experiences except for that
Except for
time I
one-
got accused for doing literally the worst thing the church is known for.
However, I eventually it was obviously that didn't happen. Right? You know, the kid is like 4 years old, and they misunderstood him. But other than that weird freaking moment, I had nothing but great experiences in the church. The people were nice. The experiences were nice. You know, it was awesome. You know, so like I don't really have negative things or viewpoints about the church.
Well,
You
yeah,
know?
Star Wars is great as long as you've never seen Star Trek.
I love Star. I'm such a. This is not a joke though. I'm such a Trekkie. This is not a. I'm such a Trekkie because my mother.
Don't you love how in-depth this analogy is
Right?
going?
It is. It's so, you know, and Jean-Luc Picard is Moses. Okay, you know I don't understand.
He might be Buddha.
You know, and Catherine.
He's a whole outside of Abrahamic tradition.
Right? Yeah,
That's-
totally. And Janeway is like I don't know about Catherine Janeway and Captain.
Is Kirk not Odin? I'm pretty
Maybe
sure.
I could see that in Captain Archer. You know, there you go. I don't know what's going on.
There's a
Alright.
whole
And
other.
then, of course, you got the Kelvin timeline with the other. Okay, all right.
Does that
Anyway,
make Khan an ice giant?
all right. But I love everyone, and I just feel really bad because I don't feel the same way people do, and it makes me feel terrible. Okay,
You
Like,
should feel special.
I wish I was everything. I wish that I could love all the Jews and I understood them, and I wish that I was Christian sometimes so that I could love the people, and because the people are awesome. But I just think it's not a kind of nonsense, and I don't mean to feel that way. But I'm sorry.
Well, that's the beautiful thing about cultural appropriation is you can just take and choose whatever parts
I'm
you
black.
want.
I can't appropriate culture.
Oh no, that means you're immune from being accused of appropriating.
Oh, but I can
culture.
do it.
But you can do it as much. Just call it sampling.
I feel better now. I feel better. Well,
Oh no, this is just a sample of Judaism. Don't you like how it links up with this beat?
I've been digging this. Now I have to say that I know that this has not been probably the most well organized of my podcasts.
Or politically correct.
Or politically correct. But I love everyone. And it's all about growth and understanding. And I want to thank you, yes, you, for joining me on doing this. I seriously, I very enjoyed it. But, you know, I really don't get a chance to bounce ideas off of and to learn. And I learned a lot today. And learning is about what we do. Learning is why we exist. Because no matter how much we struggle, no matter what the pain is, no matter how much we fuck up, it's about learning and growing and understanding. So, I want to thank you and all my Christian and Jewish and Star Wars and Star Trek people for
But
joining
only
me in
those
this.
ones.
Now, I'm gonna walk you through the end of this, okay? Because you never did this before, okay? So first,
have not.
I don't know if you know this, okay? But I'm all up on Instagram, Art of Giving Up. All right, on Twitter, DA Art of Giving Up, because Art of Giving Up was taken, so it's The Art of Giving Up, DA Art of Giving Up.
Gotcha.
On Facebook, it's The Art of Giving Up. Come on, you got to keep the brand solid, okay?
You gotta keep it consistent.
And it's Art of Giving Up podcast on gmail.com. It's everything, okay? And if you want to be part of a conversation, that's what you do. Okay, do you have the Instagram? What you wanna put that?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at C__honey. Steven just knows how much I love honey.
Yes, I kind of get that.
You can catch me at Pioneer Bar 2 p.m.s Mondays, Grizzly Pear 5 p.m.s Mondays as well. Gonna be making my way to the Creek in the Cave in the near future. So catch me, check me out at Chandler Phillips at Facebook.com.
And I just learned your last name. There you go. Now listen, this is what I want to do, okay? So at the end of everything, I always try to get people to say the word peace with me, okay? Because that's literally the whole point. Because we're all really trying to make a habit of wellness, okay? because happiness is a habit, right? You know, and we're all striving towards, we're all driving towards, we're all pushing and fighting towards one and one thing only. You know what that is?
What's that?
It's peace.
Peace?
Peace.
Peace.
That's it.
'Cause I cannot shake this feeling that I'm dying if I stay. 'Cause I feel invisible these. But I've been California dreaming, but working and believing I can feel it coming on any day. But I cannot shake this feeling. I don't wanna die another way. So what if I move? Alright. What if I move? Alright. What if I move?